Hi there, I'm back. I can't wait to show you what I have installed for this half an hour presentation. But I realize that you've probably had quite a full day already, that you're a bit full up. So I'm going to keep this light, I'm going to keep it energized and flowing so that, really what it is going to feel like is it's like the glue to sort of link everything that Donna and Mia have shared with you today. I'm just adding a few extra bits in. I've got a little bit of an offer at the end, but it's not a hard sell, and it's not necessarily going to be something you want. But I'm here. I'm going to be here. I'm actually available a lot of the time at the moment because I'm at home working here. So let's get into the presentation. But before I start, I just want to remind you of this one thing. We're coming to a time in our life where we're appreciating things more. We've lived long enough now to know when not to push ourselves, when to relax. Not that we actually listen to ourselves, but we are coming into this stage of our life where we know some stuff, we really do. So let's hope that this is just the cherry on the top for you today. So let me pull up my screen. Okay, share the screen. And that's all looking really good. So now I want to say to you, we're celebrating womanhood, right? And I want to talk about our mindset. So what we know about mindset in modern psychology is this. Our belief system about our own abilities drive our behavior and determine our success, okay? So if we were to begin with the most basic of our beliefs, which is linked to how we view our personality, we meet with the fixed mindset or the growth mindset, okay? Have you heard of that before? So which one are you? So if you were listening and you thought, okay, so I'm more of the fixed mindset, would you agree that you tend to avoid challenges, you give up easily, you see effort as a bit pointless, and you often tend to feel a bit threatened by other people's success? Because that's kind of indicative of that fixed mindset. So the other alternative is the growth mindset, where you might feel as though you're more likely to embrace change, persist in the face of setbacks, see effort as a path to mastery, or learn from criticism and find lessons and inspiration in the success of others. Okay, so how does that feel? So where are you? Okay, how do you feel about that information? Are you feeling like, okay, yes, I'm totally a growth personality mindset, or no, I'm totally fixed mindset. That's me, I'm fixed mindset. I sometimes tend to feel that we're never really entirely one or the other. I think we're often a combination, or perhaps in our early life, we were more of one type of mindset. And over time, with experience and with setbacks or challenges or disappointments or elation or success, we've grown into another mindset, the other one. So I think, don't be concerned if you're showing up in more of the one than the other, because, we are a bit of both. I mean, I see myself in both sides, and I would imagine you would as well. So, I think, it's nice to kind of establish where you feel you are now and why you think that is the case. Just, make a note in your notebook, because I know you've got your notebook on your lap or on your desk, but just make a little note about that, because I want you to take some time later on and just sit and think about it. Why do you think your mindset is the way it is? Sometimes just spending a bit of time becoming clear about that can be really helpful. Could it be an influence you got while growing up? Or was there something that happened to you, in the classroom or in the home or in the playground that suddenly made you choose growth or fixed behavior mindset? Okay. Maybe it's never crossed your mind. And that in itself is interesting. to think about, what I would like to ask you is if in the next half an hour that we spend together, you might consider wearing your more growth mindset hat, just while we work through this stuff. Because what I'm essentially asking you is to see potential in other ways of looking at things. Okay? So we're talking about the menopause, and we're all going through our own personal journey with regards to changes in our mind, our body, and our spirit. Imagine what you could do with the right mindset. So let's get straight to self-esteem. True self-esteem is when you have a sense of absolute conviction about yourself that cannot be affected by external or internal factors. Okay, so you feel so solid and clear about who you are that when you step out into the world, you are good. Nothing that anybody feeds you as information just knocks you at all. And that within, you're that certain of yourself that you are totally secure. That is true self-esteem. And I just want to clarify one thing, that self-esteem and self-image, they're not the same thing, okay? Self-esteem, I can never get the words out. Self-esteem exists in varying levels with all of us, and it's linked to a particular way that we experience ourselves. It's more than a mental picture. It consists of all aspects of kind of our emotional makeup, our emotional measuring of things. It lives in that space just behind the veil of ourselves. Do you know what I mean? You know that part where you're living your life, you're experiencing things, but there's a sort of an understanding or a desire or a wishing of something, but you can't quite reach it. You can't quite put your fingers on it. It's that feeling, that place where all our thoughts, feelings, and replies have come from, okay? Behind the veil. It's the essence of who we are. So think about yourself for a moment. How do you rate your self-esteem? Would you say your self-esteem was a 1? In other words, there's just none of it going on. Or would you put it at a 10 where you feel, okay, yeah, I'm totally secure. My esteem is high, okay? Yeah, just think about that, because wherever it is, it doesn't matter. That's not important. What is important, just remember, with anything that we've spoken about today, whether it's been Donna, me, or myself, this is about finding your positioning right now. This is about determining where you are, okay? What you do from there, that's the exciting bit. So don't worry about if your esteem is a 1. Hey, you've got so much progress to make and so many exciting things to experience. So don't worry about it. Okay, so listen, self-esteem determines and impacts how we respond to others, the challenges of work. It's about our response when we see suffering or when we see beauty. You know, if your esteem's low, you're not going to have any real feelings about the one, but you may have a lot more feelings about the other. And I'm not saying which, okay? And also our self-esteem determines the way we're impacted to the fluctuations of life. Like right now, we've got a lot going on, right? You know what I'm talking about. And, you know, your self-esteem is going to allow for a beautiful flow or a lot of panic and a lot of anxiety and a lot of uncomfortable feelings going on. So, you know, self-esteem determines whether we move towards life or away from it. So are you keeping yourself away from opportunities or friendships or a life? Or are you out there trying new things? But where is it? Where are you at? Get your rating, get your positioning. Because then once you know where you are, you know perhaps what you can do to improve it. And you can start measuring that by the things you choose to do. So whether we treat facts with respect or not, with avoidance or denial, to be self-responsible rather than not, these kind of characteristics are very difficult to fake. So you cannot go out and pretend your self-esteem is high. You can pretend you've got a lot of confidence. You can fake confidence. We've seen that. I've been the faker of confidence at times in my life. I'm sure you have too. But true self-esteem is not something you can fake, you know. So what we tell ourselves about our self-esteem and what is actually true may be quite different in reality, okay? It's really common to tell ourselves that our self-esteem is high when the truth is it's seriously troubled. So that's why I'm just really asking you to not blank it off, not just push it aside, just give yourself some time and just think about it. You know, how many of us have denied or avoided our fears and self-doubts? You know, avoidance prevents solutions being found. Okay, so by embracing self-esteem issues, accepting the reality, we give ourselves a chance for change and growth. Because what is the alternative? Okay, the alternative is stuck in pain you want to escape. For years, maybe you're already in a place where you're just frustrated. You feel locked in by something you cannot put your finger on. And, you know, it all stems from the self-esteem being low, potentially doesn't allow you to have the courage or the belief that you can actually change what you're experiencing. So, you know, some of these changes can be resolved easily and others are more difficult. So blocks can become clear if you work on them. And sometimes finding a professional to help you can be a great thing. So when it comes to good self-esteem, it's actually kind of can reach its peak and make sense in midlife. How about that? So we're at a stage where we're 50, we're 55, maybe you're a bit younger and you're not quite here yet, so good for you. Hats off, because the more you know on approach, the better it is for you. But it's at this point in our lives when we're starting to go through another change in our body, where everything's changing, that we really get to the point where with our maturity, we say, okay, enough is enough. I'm going to tackle this because I want to feel good. I want to grab somebody's hand and go walking in the forest. I want to lead. I want to feel confident and sure about myself, even if the person I'm trying to lead down the path isn't. I want to be so sure with my esteem that it doesn't matter, that I have enough to lead them. Okay? Our job is to learn how to take care of ourselves and not everybody else. That's what this time of our life is all about. Because if we don't learn how to do this, we'll figure it out very quickly that nobody else is going to come and do it for us. Okay? The problem is, as we embark on our new learning of this important skill, we tend to sort of meet up with a little bit of guilt. Okay, who will do everything around the house if I don't? Sound familiar? Yeah, feelings of guilt hit us right in our solar plexus, you know, that part just under the rib cage. And this is the center of our body, which is associated with our self-esteem. So, you know, all that anxiety, all that twisting and uncomfortableness. Yeah, I've lived it. I have dropped it, by the way. So does that mean my self-esteem is in a good place? Potentially it is. But yeah, self-esteem comes from feeling good about ourselves in the world. It's an aspect of ourself that we develop in our working world. It's so easily lost if we stayed home to raise kids, you know, sort of just stop working or move to a different country and had to stop with all the familiar things. But those are only a few examples. Self-esteem is also linked to how good we feel about our relationships, our bodies, our home, and our lives in general. It's often only realized at midlife, as our responsibilities shift and we finally learn self-acceptance and self-celebration, which are key parts to self-esteem. So how does that feel? I think it's pretty amazing. You know, it's suddenly, as you start getting to that feeling of self-esteem, and I think just talking about it, you can just remind yourself where your esteem is tucked away, that you do have it. I mean, we all have it in us. It's just sometimes needs a bit of dusting off, plumping up, like a lovely pillow on the sofa. Just put a bit of air in it, give it a bit of light and life, okay? So that's why I've brought this beautiful quote, the 3 C's of life, okay? Choice, chance, and change. And, let's read what it says. It says you must make a choice to take a chance or your life will never change. And that's the challenge I offer you here today. With everything you've heard from everybody that has spoken to you, I challenge you to make a choice, okay? To take a chance on yourself and see what changes you can bring into your life. Okay, I'm not talking about walking out on your man. I'm not talking about leaving your job. And I'm not talking about moving to another country. I'm not even talking massive things. Please start small and start close to yourself, okay, to your inner being, because that's the part you need to connect with before you make any major life decisions. Because people too often jump too quickly, and then there's just so much pain and regret that you actually never embark on the magnificence that this menopausal stage can give you. So back to you, back to yourself. All right? So you've been challenged and you've been cautioned at the same time. Just take the challenge about your personal exploration, your personal journey right now. Forget about all the irritants that are around you, because that's normal, okay? Right. So awareness is one of the things that can be really powerful. If you look at this picture here, for instance, this person has a lot swirling around them. There's a lot going on. The head is down. They're not seeing much of what's happening, but what's evident is they're locked into an enormous amount of emotion and well, that's what I get from the picture, that essence of things. Awareness is something that I have to warn you, it does come with a warning. Once you become aware of your life, your actions, your thoughts, your words, your surroundings, it is very, very difficult. Actually, it's impossible to not be aware again, okay? So you're being warned. But I'll tell you what, awareness is like embracing life. Because once you become aware, that's how you feel. Even when it's all happening around you and your head might still be down because you are working through whatever you're working through, you will be able to differentiate with the colors, with the nuances, with the feelings and the emotions. You become aware of yourself immersed in your life. And there is a very nice method of practicing awareness that I want to share with you. And I call it the value of awareness, the importance of awareness. But it's when, like this little chart here, you have a situation, okay? Because often we have situations, that's just life. Things happen, okay? So this is a good way to practice awareness. You have a situation and it's either making you feel really good or it's not, okay? So what you need to do is you need to link and say, okay, what am I thinking in this situation? What are my thoughts? What's going on in my head? Okay. Now, what do I believe? What do I believe about this situation? Okay. What are my beliefs here? If I'm having a challenge right now, maybe some of my beliefs are, this is wrong, this shouldn't be happening, da, da, da. Look at what it is. Look at what your thoughts are, because your thoughts plus your beliefs can often create the type of situation, okay, that you're in. So you have to start off learning this practice by looking at what's happening, the situation, okay? And then identify your thoughts and identify your beliefs, okay? And then accept that whatever you were thinking and what you believe created that situation. Okay? Now, then what happens is you move along with the arrow to the RAS. Now, the RAS is short for your reticular activating system. Now, I don't know if you've heard about it before, but your reticular activating system is actually a eye brain function. And what it is there for is to keep us from experiencing massive overwhelm. So, based on our thoughts and our intentions and wants, or the environment we are in, our RAS will limit what we see and what we focus on based on what we're thinking about. So an easy example is, for instance, if you're wanting to buy a car and you're not sure which one, and then you fix on a Mini, for instance, one of the new ones, whatever range they are, and you say, gosh, I'm so excited, I'm going to be the only person on the road driving a Mini like this because I haven't seen any. And you buy that car, you put your body in it, you drive out of the forecourt of the car place, and suddenly on the road there's one passing you on the left, one passing you on the right, one coming towards you, one in the rearview mirror. They're everywhere. Your reticular activating system is going out to find proof that you've made a good buying decision, that you're not the only one buying this car. Suddenly you're receiving confirmation for your decision, your thoughts and your beliefs about this being a good thing to do. So reticular activating system is very powerful. In fact, it's a nice exercise to walk into a room and just look around the room, okay? Then close your eyes and then list off to somebody who's writing down everything you remember from being in the room. You're not going to see everything. Your initial memory isn't. Your subconscious will take everything in. And there's a power to that as well, but that's for another event, okay? And then what happens is you have this confirmation, as I mentioned, and then you go up, which gives you new thoughts and perhaps potentially new beliefs. So as we become aware of how we respond and react to things in our life, events, situations, they take it back up to our thoughts. They take it back up to our beliefs. And once we start becoming clear about those things, we can really start taking responsibility for what's happening in our life. And then as we take responsibility for what's happening in our life, we can begin to say, right, if this is my choosing, if this is what I have created, then I can actually choose to create something else. I can choose to create another experience. And sometimes you need a bit of help with that, because to try and have a relationship with yourself and repair these things all by yourself can be tricky. So if you've got a really good, unjudgmental, secure friend with good self-esteem, relatively good self-esteem, they don't have to be perfect, then knock on their door and what I call have sofa night and just a bit of a chat. Or there's people like me out there. I'm obviously available if you're looking, but find somebody that you can work with on these key things, okay? It's very valuable. This is a beautiful quote from Gandhi that I love very much, and it epitomizes all those things into one. So your beliefs become your thoughts, okay? And then your thoughts become your words. Your words become your actions. Your actions become your habits. Your habits become your values. And your values become your destiny. Now that's a huge, huge message in very few words. So what I suggest you do when you have a chance, come back or find the quote and have a look at it and perhaps spend some time thinking about what that could lead to for you. And knowing those things, how could you start with certain thoughts that change to certain words? Now, if you go on my website, I have an ebook that I'm giving away. It's a free ebook. You can just sign up to my newsletter. And there is a deeper explanation in there about those exact things. So, you can just go and subscribe, and then the ebook is free for you to download. It will really help you. And if you're going to get a coach or you're going to get some help, maybe that's a good place to start. Read the ebook. Become a bit familiar yourself. and then go and hire somebody, because then, you know, you don't spend as much time trying to grasp what they're talking about. You can just get straight in there. Okay. So here we come. This is the magic potion, morning pages. Are they really worth the time? Now, I know some people who write every morning. They get up at 5 o'clock, they make a cup of tea, they get back in bed, or they go sit in their favorite space. Maybe they've got a nice view, whatever. They've got a book, and they write. I have a book. I don't know where it is right now. It is not at the desk. But I say about an A5 size is really nice. Morning pages, before you've had a conversation with anybody, before you've really given yourself a chance to think about anything that you see, okay? Before you've uttered a single word, write out and download what is in your thoughts. Perhaps you've had a dream and you want to just write it down. Morning pages can turn everything around to color and to living and to being really in touch with where you're at. Because through menopause especially, we're very strong. There's a strong energy within our bodies, and we need to get that out. And I know that if I don't write, my family get the brunt of my energy. Okay, so this is not writing for moaning. Okay, I'm not talking writing at all about what's going wrong and what's not right and all this. I want you to focus on writing what is good, what you appreciate, what you are noticing about the beautiful morning that you've woken up in. I want you to use morning pages to set the tone of your day. And I'm talking not more than maybe a half an hour of writing. Now, I don't always have half an hour. Sometimes I'm squeezed for maybe 10 minutes, but I tell you what, I take those 10 minutes and I use them and I write as much as I can. I try to do about 4 pages, maybe 5. Some days it's flowing and some days it's not, but just write. Sometimes you don't even have to write a sentence. Just write words, expressions, thoughts, feelings. Express feelings. Try and use it as an exercise to imagine the huge number of feelings and expressions that you could have. New ones you haven't had for a while. What's missing? What you want to discover through your writing. You don't have to ever read it back, but it will start helping you work on those thoughts, which become your actions and your intentions and your life experience. So give that a try. Now, just coming back to a little bit of the other stuff, the mindset. Obviously, if you're not sleeping well, you know, your whole sense of self-esteem, your self-worth, everything just goes loopity-loop, okay? So what I'm saying to you here is try and get good sleep. That girl has a beautiful dark thing over her eyes so that the light can't come in. It has been suggested that, you know, a dark room is really good. You know, less alcohol or no alcohol, ideally. You know, I'm sure this has been mentioned already, and there's umpteen books, but just go explore how you can get help. You know, if you're having hot flushes or those night sweats, which, yeah, they're incredible. I find them like unbelievable. There are no words, right? There are no words. But there are ways that you can just ease that off, you know, cotton clothing rather than synthetic, all kinds of things. So, you know, read up. I have some recommendations for reading for you in a bit. You know, the other thing is mood. Our moods can fluctuate. You know, if you're having a hard time with all symptoms, you know, aches, pains, whatever, it can really affect your mood, and you can worry and feel depressed in a way, because there's the aspect of you that just feels that you've just lost grip and control with what's going on. And if you're not sleeping properly, you know, that's another way that your mood can get impacted. So, you know, whether it's taking those whole foods in or doing some meditation, or if it's just doing your morning pages, you can actually shift yourself out of it. If for whatever reason you're on medication, or you have been to the doctor and you're just starting any kind of antidepressants, you know, I'm not going to say don't take them. I'm going to say try and take them for as limited time as possible. So I think it's recommended not less than 6 months. So do the work while you're on them, and then stop them if you can, and try and use all this advice that we've offered you as an alternative And if it doesn't work, obviously, obviously speak to your doctor about this as well, or a natural therapist, an alternative therapist, because, doctors don't always know everything about all these other things. So they advise what they have available. Okay. Remember, I'm not a doctor, so just just stuff for thinking about. Okay. And then there's memory. So this whole thing around the menopause, you hear all the sayings, oh, foggy brain, oh, I forget things, oh, I do. But what I want you to try and think about when it comes to these old wives' tales or these actual things that are happening, believe me, on my radio show, how many times I've had that situation where suddenly I'm about to ask my guest a question and the question evaporates. Okay. But what I have stopped doing is reminding myself that I can potentially have bad memory during this time. I'm taking care of myself. I'm taking my nutrients. I'm eating well, doing my exercise. I'm taking time out to meditate. And morning pages can be beautiful meditative because you become so focused on your writing that, you really do relax. I want you to use that mindset, that self-esteem, and not get stuck into old wife tales about the menopause. I want you to look forward. I want you to look ahead. I want you to think about not giving up. I want you to think about this is just a moment in time while your body adjusts, shifts, and changes as you support it. And then you'll be good to go, stronger than you've ever been before. Okay? Because you're coming to midlife wisdom. And one of the books I've been reading and using as a support for myself through my menopause journey has been this book by Christine Northrup. Okay. She has written a book previously called Women's Bodies and Women's Wisdom, which I was blessed to be gifted by a very dear friend. And it was because of knowing about that book and Christine Northrup that I came across the wisdom of menopause. And there's just one little paragraph here that I want to read to you, where she says, your brain is like your muscles. If you want to stay in peak form, you have to use it regularly. Okay? Brain function is also profoundly affected by our expectations and attitudes about life. While there is no formula, hormonal or otherwise, to cure aging, there are many things you can do to preserve your mental vitality. Okay? So this is where midlife wisdom starts coming in. Okay? So stay away from all the complaining and moaning and thinking about your life is over. Honey, it's only just beginning. I assure you, there are umpteen women out there. I mean, a woman like Jane Fonda who's just turned 82. Let's forget about all the cosmetic surgery, okay? Let's just look at her energy for life. 82, for goodness sake. She's been here. She's been here. And she's there, okay? It's our mindset. It's our outlook. It's our choice to work on the things that are challenging. And it's during this time, actually, in this wisdom moment of our life where we can reflect back and we can start saying, no more. I'm not putting up with this anymore. I'm going to find a way because I can. Because there's enough out there. There's enough people out there that can help me. There are books, but they're heavy going. So maybe I can mix it up between the two. But this is something to really explore, a time to get to know you. There's so many things you can do. But having that can-do attitude is going to be your best friend through this whole thing, over and above eating, over and above meditating. A can-do attitude. And those morning pages can really make the difference. Now, if you don't like doing that, then just give it a try. 21 days makes and breaks habits. So you might be able to break an old habit and make a new one that could transform your life. So have a look at that. There's just, it's endless, and there are so many things that you could potentially do. So what I want to ask you now is exactly that question. What is your intention? I'm just about coming to the end of my talk, and you've had heaps thrown at you right now. Okay, I'm hoping you've made heaps of notes. And perhaps after listening to Donna, you went and you said, okay, fine, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do da, 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 da. And then Mia came in and you said, oh my goodness, now I'm going to do this, this, and this. And now I've spoken to you and you're going to say, okay, I'm going to do that. Just step back. Take a little bit from each area and build it in like when you mix dough for bread, slowly, one piece at a time. Okay? Doesn't have to be in any particular order. One from everything. Try things out. Don't be a critic on yourself. Be compassionate, as Mia said. Take care. Take time and appreciate the gift that you're being given. This menopause process is such a new age thing. Women used to, and they used to live only to about 40. Menopause is a new, undiscovered bit of magic, okay? So what is your intention? What do you want to do with your life from this workshop? What are you going to try? What are you definitely going to do? And what is your hope to get out of it all? If you don't have something like that, then this is just going to be another couple of hours that you've spent. Try and find something that you can focus on, okay? And then, I have an invitation. I have a special offer that I'm going to offer 5 people. But off the back of that, I want to offer something to each one of you. And that is simply 3 morning calls. Now, those are 10-minute calls that I'd like to give you over the next month. So for the month of April, I'd like to offer you each 3 10-minute conversations with me on 3 particular mornings of the week. You would have to schedule it in, and you would have to let me know that you were in and you wanted to do this, because then what we would do is we would go ahead and we would pick 3 mornings. I want to give you 3 mornings of a burst of inspiration to sort of kickstart your day. You can do the 3 days back to back, or you can do them spread out. It's absolutely your choice, and it is an invitation to each and every one of you who is listening in today to take that offer up, okay? It is half an hour of your time, and it will give you a boost. So think about that. And then what I'm actually offering today is to 5 ladies the opportunity to receive 4 hours of coaching with me, okay? The 4 hours will be made up of first 3 hours online. So we'll talk about your menopause journey so far. We'll also talk in the second session about the stronger mindset. So looking at where your mindset's at, and then just helping you to sort of build a few more foundation blocks and walls to strengthen it where it needs, and then also to develop wonderful self-esteem. So we'll do a bit of an assessment to see where your self-esteem is right now, and then we'll help you just, as I said, fluff the pillow, put a bit of air in, and get you feeling good about yourself again. Okay, so the first 3 hours will be online on Zoom that we'll set up. And then the 4th session we'll have face-to-face in the flesh when this whole lockdown is over. And the normal value of this is £300. But for the 5 of you the first 5 people who email me, it will just be £75. It's really a great offer, and it might not be where you're at right now, so it's only for 5 of you. It will be the first 5, and all you have to do is send me an email at info@mindblocks.co.uk, and in the subject matter, put the reference CW, which is Celebrating Womanhood, and dash offer 50, because we're 50 plus, I'm imagining, or we're in the 50s or about to be. And then just give me a little bit of a summary about, why you'd like to have the sessions. And then I'll get back in touch and we'll put it together. And that's it. How do you feel? That was like a train running down a track. I don't even know how long I've been speaking for, but I just hope you got value from that. I hope I haven't overwhelmed you too much. If you have any questions whatsoever from what I said, or something hasn't quite made sense, please email me or give me a text. Send me a text message, WhatsApp me or whatever, and I will, with absolute pleasure, send you a message. But if you'd like to take up those three 10-minute calls, all you have to do is send me an email. You can send it to tess@mindblocks.co.uk, and all you have to do in the subject is say 3 morning calls, 3 golden calls, and we'll put it together. It has been a delight. Take care, and thank you so much for being so willing to wear that growth mindset hat today. And just remember, life can never be the same after 3 interesting chats like that. So I applaud you for sticking it out in these difficult circumstances. Take care, be well, and look after yourself. Bye for now.